All right, man, we're live. Let's do it. I got TK on the show with me, and we have Doc coming in here in a second. I think John Leon Guerrero is going to be here in a minute to co-host with us. But the main reason why we're here is for charity. You know how we love charity around here on the Break It Down show. Save the Brave, obviously, support them. And TK has been on the show before. And actually, we just put up the podcast version of the show we did months ago now, but I wanted to save it because I wanted to help promote the Celebrity Softball Classic.
Sweet.
We put that Mitzi Purdue show up on the podcast side. So anybody watching that, celebritysoftballclassic.com, there is the link right there, or .org, I should say. And then I guess you guys have been doing this for a while. We couldn't do it last year because of COVID, but let's talk about the Celebrity Softball Classic and why the heck are you involved in this thing? And did you start it, or give us the origin story?
Yeah, no, I actually founded it. So it goes all the way back when I played all Air Force softball when I was in the military. And then, you get out and you get married and you have kids, and then everything falls wayside for dad. And then probably around 2014, when my oldest son went to college, my youngest son was going into high school. It kind of got down to a point of like, hey, what can we do to have some fun, raise some money? So the first one we did, actually, I teamed up with Marcus Luttrell and the Lone Survivor Foundation, and we did it at Rice University in 2015. We had a celebrity co-ed team versus celebrity veteran team that's basically made up of influential veterans. And it was a huge hit, and everybody had a blast, and celebrities love hanging with the vets love hanging with the celebs. And that's kind of where it all started. And then 2017, myself, Roger Clemens, Matthew McConaughey, and Toby Keith all teamed up. Their foundations all teamed up, and we did the Red River Celebrity Softball game. And then after the 2018 game, the second year of that game, all my other celebrities and veterans came to me and were like, dude, this is awesome. Where's ours? We want one. So 2019 was when we originally did this game. It was the Memorial Day celebrity softball game that year in 2019. And we did it to raise money for Carry the Load and kick off Carry the Load weekend, and which just finished, obviously, last weekend with Memorial Day. And then D.O.C.
Hello, brother. How you doing?
What's up, baby? How are you? We're talking a little celebrity softball here, Big Pimp.
As you should. As you should.
So what happened is after that, Pete, what happened, Pete, is we ended up COVID killed both games in 2019, and then we decided to resurrect the 2019 Memorial Day game. We actually changed it to Celebrity Softball Classic because it's just so hard to fit that game on a stadium weekend because of baseball. Are they in town, they out of town? So we just rebranded it as Celebrity Softball Classic so we could do it in May if we need to, in June, July, whenever the stadium appropriate. The other thing is we actually moved it to Globe Life Field this year, where the Texas Rangers' new ballpark in Arlington. So that's exciting. That field is ginormous. I just don't see the difference between a single A baseball stadium and a MLB stadium. Just don't look like the same size to me. Like they say it is, I don't see it. I mean, the outfield is so freaking ginormous out there. But it's going to be a great time. And then what we have on June 12th is a veteran celebrity softball game first, a veteran influencers, and then we have the pregame, and then we have the actual celebrity co-ed game afterwards, which my man, the D.O.C, is actually playing in.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to that. And that is actually his birthday weekend too, him and his mom's birthday weekend. So it's going to be even extra special for us.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's so much stuff, dude. I mean, God, that's huge. By the way, hey, Doc, will you say this is the D.O.C. and you're watching the Break It Down show? That's the official open for this show. So if you can say that when you get a moment.
Repeat that.
This is the D.O.C. or Doc, and you're watching the Break It Down show.
This is the D.O.C. and you're watching the Break It Down show where we break it off.
Break it off.
That's fantastic. If you turn your phone 90 degrees, you'll there you go. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
And let me put you in the big screen. By the way, John just joined us as well. Hey, John, what's up?
John, what's up, man?
What's going on?
Bro, I thought you were telling me to turn my phone down.
No, we want you louder.
Not down, just sideways.
Yeah, he got it now. No, you're good now, Doc.
I'm trying to get everything set up.
Yeah, man. Boy, letting the beard go, huh?
West Coast and all the way, baby. I'm a little upset on my Lakers last night.
Man.
Did the Lakers lose?
They're
Yeah, they're out.
eliminated.
Yeah, they're out of there.
I guess the goat turned into the goat. I love it. I got to use my joke.
Look, we're trying to get Lucas.
So TK,
Yeah, babe.
when there are 2 games you said, and they're both on Saturday. Is that right?
Both on Saturday. So gates open at 5 p.m. Then we got the veteran game will kick off at 6 p.m. and then pregame show, and then we got the celebrity softball game will be at that point.
Who are some of the celebrities and veteran influencers and athletes that you've got besides obviously the D.O.C?
Well, let's start with the veteran game. I mean, we've got Craig Saul-Mansour, obviously Scott Husing with Save the Brave. Got a bunch of Save the Brave guys. Nick's in that as well. The veteran game, honestly, there's probably 20 Navy SEALs. There's a few Delta guys, some Rangers. I got a couple of females that fly F-16s or flew F-16s. I got one of my good friends who's actually a Top Gun instructor at Top Gun, Tom Mackey, who is a F-18 pilot. And he fits that Top Gun bill real good. You think he thinks he's Tom Cruise still, even today when you see him. So, but then, I mean, it's just unbelievable, the influencers on the veteran side. And then you go over to the celebrity side, and you got the D.O.C., you got Ezekiel Elliott, you got Michael Irvin, EMI's in the house. And then you got like Brooke N.C., Kaya Jones from Pussycat Dolls. Who else? I mean, it's Josh Howard, Michael Young. It's loaded. I mean, there's so many celebrities. It's honestly, it's hard for me to remember them all. I'm not even joking.
Yeah, and we're honored to be part of the crew supporting you guys. Tom Mackey is great. We've actually had a show with him and his company he's working on called Red 6. I often wear the Red 6 hat.
That's right. You all got to go down there and fly in that little thing with him, didn't you? I forgot y'all went down there. I forgot y'all went down there and did that with T Mac. Oh yeah. It's
neat. And these guys are they're entrepreneurializing and they're changing. I mean, it's like you with Verve. You know, like you're just like you've become this mogul. You know, with all these things. Sure, charity, but man, you just. I mean, look. You're barely in the military being in the Air Force, even less so being on all Air Force softball. But look at you.
Hey, I don't make the rules, baby. I don't make the rules. TK just plays by the rules that the game's being played, right? So if you're going to let me play all Air Force softball and travel around for 3.5 years, all over the Pacific, all over the United States. I mean, not even that. When I was in the Philippines, I actually played base team soccer and traveled the Pacific. And then when soccer season was over, softball started. Then I made the base team softball and traveled the Pacific for the whole year I was there. And then I had to take vacation time, while I was there and to support the islands and spend a little time over there as well. And, defrag from all my efforts of playing sports all the time. And then I came back to the U.S., played semi-pro football in Colorado Springs for a team there, hurt my knee, got 2 concussions. Air Force canceled me out of that, went back to softball, made the base team, traveled, and then when the base team wasn't in, the all Air Force team was in. So I was doing that. Then I played on a couple of what people consider professional teams now, civilian teams. So it was a pretty good career. And then when I got a commander that wasn't so fond of me, basically playing softball all the time, that's when I was like, okay, if I'm getting paid for it, if I'm going to get paid, I got to go get a real job. Then I'm out. So that's where it came down to. But it was a good time though. Great start. Yeah.
John's getting his hat on.
I got to put a hat on because Brad said I look naked without a hat. I'm from the Bay, so I got to kick a high-roll hat. You know what? Since we got one of your celebrity softball players, and it happens to be the D.O.C. Doc, what's your softball pedigree, man? You got softball game?
You know what, bro? I'm just put up the chance. Whoever shows up that day, with it. I can swing the bat a little bit. I might be able to catch it. I don't know, but we're gonna go college try for sure.
Okay.
Yes, we are.
I'm just curious, when you do you guys lighten up when you TK, when you bring the celebrities on the field? It's like, okay, we're gonna take it easy on them now, or what happens?
Well, what happens is, it's just the coed is much more fun because it's not so testosterone based. you know, if with the OU UT game in October that we do with McConaughey and Toby Keith and Clemens and all the OU greats and UT greats, like, you know, they're all hugging before the game. It's all cool. It's all love. And then let somebody get a hit and score a run. And I'll tell you, like, the hatred comes back out between OU and UT. And I mean, McConaughey looks like a kindergarten kid when he comes off. His knees are skin up. Jersey, I don't even know if you can clean this jersey after it's done. The co-ed games are more fun because the guys, it's kind of funny. The guys take it a little bit step back because you got all these amazing female athletes playing. But then the females, they're out there competing. They're the ones who really are like, okay, we're going to show them what's up. They're the ones who actually start competing. So it really kind of is a little bit of a kind of fun deal. I mean, you know, I started these things out of selfish reasons so I could play in them. And after the first one, my wife was like, hey, no offense, nobody wants to see Tim Con play. Like, you need to be up here with the sponsors and hanging out. Nobody cares about you swinging a bat. So I've only actually played in one of my own games. The rest of the time, we just get it kicked off. And, you know, I actually like it a little bit better. I start sweet hopping. When the celebrity game will start after I'm done, I'll just go down here and have a few drinks, go to this one, have a few drinks, go to this one, have a few drinks. By the time the game's over with, I'm damn near wiped out by the time I have to go do a post-game interview. But it's always a good time. And, yeah, we got some other amazing people. I got a couple of guys who are in the Boston bombing. They're Boston bombing survivors that both lost legs. One is Mark Furcarell. One is J.P. Norton. Both amazing individuals. They're playing in a celebrity game. I've got another guy by the name of Dave Stevens. Dave was actually born with no legs, but he played D1 football. He played D1 baseball. He actually tried out for the Cowboys in '92. If you Google him, you'll see it. You'll see that he tried out for the Cowboys at the old Texas Stadium in '92. The Cowboys brought him in for a tryout. And then he played like, I don't know, single or double A baseball for a while out of college. Like, he's amazing. And he's playing. And who else? I mean, I got a friend of mine, Jason Koger, who's a motivational speaker. He's a farmer rancher in Tennessee, and he was driving after a storm and hit a power line in one of those little, what they call them, gators or something, and ended up electrocuting him. And because of the toxins building up his body, they had to amputate his arms off. And so he's been, he recovered, got the prosthetics. He was the first guy with the prosthetic that a lot of the veterans wear now, that the whole wrist will turn around and you can pretty much control your movements. But he was the first one to have that. And it's kind of cool. Some of the videos he put out, the prosthetic company actually made him a prosthetic with the net where he can actually catch a ball. And then they made him another prosthetic where he can actually throw the ball, that can grip the ball and throw it. And then he has a prosthetic when it's time to bat that they made him, which is pretty cool. He's been sharing some of the videos on his Facebook, on Instagram, of like him trying to figure out with his kids how to work all these things. But you know, it's just a lot of inspirational people like that, and a lot of great people just coming out, having a lot of fun. The biggest part is, you know, we're actually doing this game to raise money for Foes of Honor, which is a national veteran organization that gives scholarships to children of fallen heroes, which is absolutely amazing. And the Foes of Honor here in Dallas, they have a young lady by the name of Sarah Duncan. She was a recipient of one of those scholarships. Her father had passed away. And she went to, I want to say, Auburn, finished her degree, and then came back and worked for Foes of Honor. So she played full circle, which was really cool. And then the other one is Vets for Child Rescue, which is near and dear to my heart, which is sex trafficking. And Craig Sawman Sawyer, SEAL Team 6 guy who's playing in the veteran game. He is it's his foundation, and we just support him. And I mean, you know, no children should have to go through that. And you know, so those are the two foundations. We have another veteran playing in the game who was a 4-year starter at Naval Academy. He's a Naval Academy Hall of Famer, Clint Bruce. Clint Bruce left the Naval Academy. He backed up Ray Lewis for 2 years with the Baltimore Ravens. Then he went to New Orleans for 2 years. Then after 4 years of NFL, was like, it's not challenging enough. I'm going to go ahead and go back to Bud's training, and then went and became a Navy SEAL commander on top of it.
Let me ask Doc a question, because so TK, he's describing all these guys. You know, some of these guys have been blowing up, and they have, you know, a net for a hand. It's like superhero time. I'm 51 years old. If I try, and I used to be a pretty good athlete, not great, but pretty good, right? If I try to throw a ball from third to first, I'm going to scream, probably spike the ball 5 feet in front of my foot, in front of my foot, and I'm not going to be able to throw anybody out. And if I run too fast, I'm probably going to have to hold my back. How are you holding up physically? Like if you go out there and go play, how hard can you go? Can you do the Sean Dunston where you wait and throw the ball at the last second and nip someone at the base? How are you holding up?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
Man, look, I had a prayer. I'm on a wing and a prayer with this one. I'm doing it for a great cause. It's really for the people. You know what I mean? So I'm doing it for them. So we're all gonna have to wait and see. Because I don't know what's gonna be. But one thing I do know, it's gonna be entertaining.
It's gonna be entertaining 100%.
Yeah.
We're probably gonna put the D.O.C. as a like designated hitter. Like I can't have the D.O.C. I'm not going to share his age, but he's going to be 2 years older than me on the 10th of June. So we can't put Doc out there to risk. So we're probably going to put him at DH and have some fun, couple hits, wave to the crowd, probably hit the dugout, have a few cocktails, enjoy the time. And we got the Gronkowski brothers playing too, which is going to be a whole nother mess to deal with those boys.
So my whole family is coming out there, and my sisters, both of them reminded me that I was never really a good athlete, and so they're really excited to see what it's gonna look like too. So it'll be a lot of fun, man, and I'm really excited. I'm so glad that TK reached out to me. Because, well, first, I really enjoyed the idea of giving back to people who really deserve it, who really need it, and especially here in Texas, because where my heart is. But I also want to show my sisters I can swing the damn bat.
You still got game.
That's what sisters are good for, man. They're good to tell you what you can't do.
I know, right?
So what about, okay, let me ask you this though, because if you're you're playing in a softball game with all these female fighter pilots and they're going to get competitive, but we know that your gifts are otherwise. So we know you're going to hang in there with them. How do you feel about female fighter pilots, man? Does that do something for you? Because I feel some kind of way about them, man.
Bro, I'm that they even exist. Because if it were up to me, there would be no fighter pilots. I'm not doing it. I can barely fly from Texas to Los Angeles on American Airlines, bro. Not getting in no fighter pilot and doing 0G, EFCs or whatever. I applaud them for their skill set, and I'm thankful and grateful to them for serving this country. And so if they want to a grand slam home run and it takes me a little while longer to get the ball home, who cares, right? It's all in that.
Yeah. Well, I have to ask you a question that's been brewing on my mind since somewhere around 1989. You're from Texas, and you split time between Texas and LA over the last decades. Are you even a little bit Jamaican?
No, not even a little. Like when Dre and I made that song, I had been drinking a little bit.
Okay.
And when the beat came on, at least in my head, it sounded Jamaican.
Okay.
That's the way the song came out. But if you'll notice, I never did it ever again. It was just that one thing that happened in that one moment. So blame it on the corona. I mean, I don't.
All right, so TK, I think that's what you have to look forward to is that Doc may just do something that day that will only happen ever in history just that day.
Well, I can guarantee you I can promise you, I'm not going to tell you some of the surprises that's going to happen, but I can guarantee you there's going to be something that's going to happen before pregame that is going to be a huge surprise to some people that we love. And it's going to be a lot of fun. The pregame, we got World War II Iwo Jima survivor, or as Clint Bruce will say, Victor, because he didn't survive the island. He walked off that island. Don Graves who dropped out of school at 16 years old during World War II, joined the military, joined the Marine Corps, and he's only like I think he said he was 5'10". He's probably like 5'7" now, but he's 96 years old. But when he was in World War II, he was actually a flamethrower. So, he was carrying the packs. I mean, that's the job. And he was on the island when they raised the flag up at Iwo Jima. He's actually singing the national anthem. And he's a great friend of mine. And honestly, if there's somebody I can hang out and run sweet hop with, it's going to be Don Graves, because he probably drink me underneath the table when it comes to drinking beers, and it won't even affect him. And then the other cool thing is in 2019, the Memorial Day weekend, we had the Colonial going on here, the PGA golf tournament too, right? And I'm going to tell this, if Don Graves watched, he's going to be blushing, but we were up in a suite, having a hamburger, having a beer, and the game's going on, and we were chit-chatting, and he said, yeah, I'm taking my girlfriend to the Colonial this weekend. Now, he's 94, 95 at this time. And I was like, yeah, and he kind of leaned over and whispered. He said, but she's only 63. You think that's a bad thing? I was like, dude, I think when you get 95, you can pretty much damn near date whoever you want, bro. Like 63, hell, I'm proud of you, my man. So, but yeah, all the women love him. All the men want to be him. But he's going to be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm just trying to think what else is going on, that whole deal. I mean, it's just out of control, man. Everything happening.
Yeah, you want to hang out with that guy and listen to those stories, because those are the guys that ran up the hill and stuck the nozzle of the flamethrower in a pillbox. And, we're saving a lot of American lives trying to also come up that hill. So, man, those guys did just some stuff that was bananas. And, to just be able to spend time around a guy who's got stories like that. I mean, he ditched school at 16 so he could go to war.
Wow.
Yeah.
Come on.
A lot of him and a lot of his buddies did. They just went and lied about their age and just dropped right out and went on in. Like, you talk about some studs. That's the reason why those guys are the greatest generation, man, because we don't have them we don't have them type of people anymore. That's going to be like, oh, we're at war. Okay. The whole earth is either we step up and battle evil, or we're all going down. And like 16-year-old, like, I'm out, I'm going. And the thing is, what people don't realize about World War II, when you got deployed. Like, you didn't come home until the war's over. It's not like a deployment nowadays where, hey, I'm going to Afghanistan for 9 months and then I come home and defrag for 3 to 6 months and maybe go back. Like, you're going to Europe. See you and whenever the war's over. And I think he was over there for 3 years. And you think about it too. Most of the time they're just walking, right? Yeah. He was over. He did the Pacific deal. And so you're on the boats. The other thing I just learned not too long ago about Iwo Jima, because I think we had the 75th anniversary not too long ago. But 95% of the first wave of boats that hit the beach, the guys, where they're jumping off the boat, 95% of them didn't survive, didn't make it at the end of the day. 95%. That battle, and you know what? Think about that. And your mindset is you're seeing all your guys dropping in front of you, but you still are badass enough. You're still jumping off that boat and heading in. Those are some real American heroes, man.
No question about it.
Yeah, that
he's going to be my favorite. Like I said, he got pissed off at 2019 game because he threw out the first pitch, and he was trying his shoulder, and he threw it underhanded, and he was mad that he didn't like the way the pitch went. And then we were walking off, and I had my arm around him, and he's like, "Oh, I can't believe I threw out the first pitch. Why didn't you have me sing the national anthem?" I was like, "Do you sing the national anthem?" Well, yeah. I was like, "Well, damn, why didn't you tell me? I'd had you do that." So this is his opportunity to do it now. This is like the stadium opened up last year for the World Series. This is like his fourth or fifth time singing the national anthem at the Globe Life Field. They have him out there all the time. It's pretty cool.
Let him sing it every day if he wanted to. You're in your 90s wanting to sing the national. Let him go do it. Hey,
throw him a cheeseburger, a Bud Light, and a microphone. He's game on, babe.
Perfect.
Macking on 60-year-olds.
Oh, dude, macking on 60. That's a real Mac Daddy. That's why I tell my wife, I go, let me tell you something. No offense. If I last longer than you on this planet, I'm going to be Don Graves. So just go to your grave knowing I'm pimping out like Don Graves at 90 years old. I'm going looking for them young 60-year-olds all day long. I promise you.
Same. I
Doc-
made the same agreement. I'm like, I'm gonna be faithful while I'm with you, but if I outlast you, I'm going after it.
If I outlast you, baby, I'm going straight down graves. I'm going to be.
And it's fair.
I'm
It's fair.
Still going after it. Oh, 100%. 100%. That just
I
took
gotta
me to
ask
a whole
Doc-
nother level on my book. When he told me that, like, oh yeah, bro, you just went
I
off.
wanna-
You just went off the scale.
Okay, so hey, who did you like growing up? Like, you have a signature catch, and I want you to answer the question too, TK. Like, I'm a Ricky Henderson guy, so I liked his version of the snatch catch. You know, there's like the slow snatch, and there's Dave Parker that had the cobra. Do you have a signature catch, Doc? And then what about you, TK? Do you have a signature, or the Dave Henderson where you look up like you can't see the ball, you have your glove right here, and all of a sudden the ball just goes boop right in your glove? What are you gonna do? Do you got something for us?
I don't have a signature. My signature is allowing the ball to hit the ground.
I love it. It's a great signature catch. What about you, TK? Do you have one that you do?
My signature catch would be Willie Mays Hayes off Major League.
That's it.
The Wesley Snipes Willie Mays Hayes catch.
Mm-hmm.
Nice catch, Hayes. Don't do it again. That'd be my guy's catch. That's what I want to see. Listen, we got some competitors. We got a Super Bowl champion, Isaiah Standback. I saw him yesterday with Steadfast. You know, this boy's coming out to play. Like, there are a few of them that I can promise you they're not going to share time. Oh, you're a celebrity too and you want to play? Well, that's good. Go ask somebody else. Take somebody else out because I'm not coming out of this game. He's already talking MVP. He don't care. So, I mean, there's a few of them too that are out there that are, he actually got drafted out of high school for Major League Baseball, went to the University of Washington, played quarterback up there, was all Pac-10, I think, at the time. Came out of college. The Cowboys drafted him in the 4th round. I think the Baltimore Orioles drafted him again in Major League Baseball. He didn't even play for 4 years. He was so good in high school that they drafted him again, even after not playing 4 years in college. And then, he ended up becoming a receiver in the NFL. And then he won his Super Bowl with the Giants, actually. Is who he won his Super Bowl with after leaving the Cowboys.
You know what? I think if I look at that celebrity roster, so Doc, when you got to see who's playing on the same day as you, did you see any name on that list that you thought, oh, if I round third base and I see him at home, I'm trucking him. I owe that dude one. I'm gonna lower my shoulder on him. Did you see anybody on that list?
Nah, man, all of these. You know what? I'm a fan of most of the people on those lists, so I'm gonna be respectful to everybody. You know what I mean? I don't.
Yeah, it doesn't get that serious, but I tell you, Doc's like me. We just want to, we looking forward to hanging out with Michael Irvin. I haven't got to hang out with him in a long time, and he's coming in for the whole weekend. And that's a great thing about these games, just so much camaraderie. The good thing for me, luckily enough, I know everybody playing in these games, on both games, but the veterans don't all know the veterans. The celebs don't know all the celebrities. But really, by the time the weekend's over, everybody knows everybody, and everybody leaves with a ton of new friends and acquaintances and just friends. And then what happens is that's why this thing keeps getting bigger and bigger every year, because you come to one of these, you won't miss it again. Like,
I'm just trying my best. I'm just trying my best to get Doc to talk any kind of smack,
Okay.
and he's not going for it. He's not going for any of it.
But I tell you, I might not be MVP, but I'm MVP. That's the most valuable beer, and I'm gonna have for those, and that'll be me. That's my trophy.
If you don't see me and Doc around third inning, we're sweet hopping. We're up there. Right. We're up there talking to some sponsors, going, "Hey, thanks for coming. Give us one of your beers, will you?"
Yeah. So you didn't sign up for the big contract. You signed up for the league minimum, which is free beer all day.
That's it, bro.
Hey, get a hat, get a jersey, get called out. And that's the other cool thing. I mean, honestly, think about it. How many people get a chance to actually even do anything on Globe Life Field, on the new Texas Ranger field? So to actually just be out there and be a part of it and go, man, I actually got to play in a celebrity softball game or even a veteran celebrity softball game that was out there on Globe Life Field. I mean, it's just kind of it's almost bucket list item that most people don't get the opportunity to do. And I appreciate the Texas Rangers for giving us the opportunity to even have this game there. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay, so the flip side of that question is never mind who you want to truck at home plate. Was there anybody on that list that you say, you know what, I never met that person. I really want to meet that person?
Stacey Dash. I never met Stacey Dash.
Okay.
That's my heart.
You know what I mean? I know somebody in her family, so
Sure.
but most of those guys are people that I'm admiring.
Mm-hmm.
So people like Urban, but they're old friends of mine that I haven't seen in eons. So it's really gonna be great. A great chance to see them at powwow. And it's at a good time. They get to see my mother. I get to introduce them to my wife and kids. It's just gonna be, I'm gonna really enjoy.
We're just going to have a great time. You know, there are a couple of things I do want to say without Doc blushing, because he's not a guy that is he's so overly humble, if you can't tell already.
Yeah.
But Doc was instrumental in getting 300 tickets to Big Brothers Big Sisters. So all the littles and their big brothers can all come to the game. Actually, I'm sorry. It's actually 500 tickets, 250 big brothers and little brothers that get to come to the game on behalf, thanks to the D.O.C. The second thing is, for that whole weekend too, is my kids, you know, is my youngest, who's 22 now. There's only one person he's coming in heavy to see. That's the D.O.C. Nobody else. You know, Mike Irvin, M.I., yeah, where's the D.O.C.? That's who I got to see. So I told Doc, you know, my wife just recently found this out not too long ago, because I was 19 when NWA came out, about 18, 19 area. And being in the military, I might have told Doc this. I grew up on hair band music in the 80s, right? You know, your Bon Jovis and Motley Crues and those guys. So when I got to tech school, I actually had a brother from Southside Chicago. He was part of the Crips, and he had left the Crips to join the Air Force so he can get away from the gang life. So over every morning on my side, I had like Led Zeppelin or something playing, and he was always bumping NWA and Rob Bass. And finally one day I was like, man, what is that you're playing? Like, let me turn my down. What are you playing? And that's actually how I got introduced to NWA, is through Smitty, who was my roommate at that time. I can't believe I remember his name. That was 1988 when we were together, and in early 89, and before I went to the Philippines. But and then honestly, the Chronic is what changed my life when Dr. Dre's Chronic dropped. That was like 92, I think, or was that 91? I was 21 in that area. Yeah. But when the Chronic hit, that shit went to another level at that point. It was like, and then Snoop dropped right after that.
Yeah.
Game over for TK. Then Tupac came out after that. It was just like, but the thing, going back to my son, being a fan of that music, when we would go to school, I'd drive him to school in the morning. He'd be like, can we listen to it? Don't tell your mom.
Don't tell your mom. That's right.
Don't tell your mom. So we dropped it. We put the Chronic in. We put the, and yeah. So he can't wait to see the D.O.C. I mean, he is so excited. He cannot wait. And again, you know, my kids grew up around MI, and I'll tell you another quick story. I hate to take all the time, but there's so many great people that are doing this. When my oldest son was part of a state championship team here in Aledo as a freshman. He got pulled up on varsity scout team. He got to play all the way through the state championship. And MI had called me probably about 9 o'clock one night. And he was like, TK, hey, was Dylan on that state championship team? And I was like, yep, he is on it. And I said, but you know, he's getting a squad ring, and he's upset about it because he don't feel like he deserves a squad ring, a state championship ring, right? So MI is like, hey, go put him on the phone with me. So it's like 9 o'clock at night. I went and gave my son the phone, said, hey, it's Mr. Irvin. Bring my phone back when you're done. Michael had talked to him for about 45 minutes on the phone. And my son came in and just said, hey, Mr. Irvin said he'll call you back later on. And I was like, what did Mike have to say? And he's like, well, he told me this story that Jimmy Johnson had always told him ever since he got to Miami and all the way through when he was with the Cowboys with Jimmy. He said, guys, every day when you wake up, one of two things is going to happen. You either go get better or you go get worse. There's no in between. And that story, but that tells you got a pro football Hall of Famer that took 45 minutes out of his evening to sit and talk to my son about football and life and the opportunity of what could be, and to be able to tell the story that Coach Johnson's always told them. Those are the kind of individuals playing this game. That's the cool thing about this game.
That's fantastic. I grew up a Niners fan, so I have every excuse to not like Michael Irvin, but I love Michael Irvin.
Good talking to you guys.
He's always been that kind of dude. He's always been that kind of dude. And that story is wonderful, but it doesn't surprise me. But I want to say this.
49ers, I love the 49ers once we got Dion and Haley from them to the Cowboys. And I was like, thank you, 49ers. Yeah. I've always hated it. I tell you what, when Joe Montana threw that last second pass to Dwight Clark in the end zone, my boy, Michael Downs, I think he's Oak Cliff boy. Michael Downs grew up as Oak Cliff, went to Rice. What happened is you always see in that picture Everson Walls back there by Dwight Clark, right? The thing was, Big E told me the story is actually Downs was covering Dwight Clark. And if you kind of, once you hear the story and you watch it, you can kind of see it. But when Dwight Clark was dragging him to make his turn, there was an illegal push-off that pushed down Michael Downs down, and that's what got him open. And Walls just happened to be covering somebody in the corner and look back and see the ball and Clark coming, and that's where you see Walls trying to jump back to block the ball. But ever since that moment, I've hated Joe Montana. I hate the 49ers. I hate the whole organization. They shouldn't even be in the NFL.
Hey, TK.
This is where Cowboy fans bring up old shit.
Hey, TK, remember when the Cowboys got the ball back and damn near run it back? You should hate the guy that got himself tackled on the run back.
Yeah.
Damn near.
Joe Montana's fault. You got Ed Too Tall Jones, Randy White, all them in your face. I was 11 years old. I cried after that game. I was so mad. That was when I was like, Joe Montana, let me get his football card. Rip. Everybody sing 49er. Who cares? They gone. And that's the thing about me. And then I'm a huge Cowboy fan, so working with those guys, the Tony Dorsett's, all the old school, I mean, they're my favorites.
Yeah, man. Well, I respect it. But I want to say this, because the thing that you brought up was, as much as gangster rap got, a bunch of negative press and for the language and misogyny and all of that stuff, there was a secret handshake between fathers and sons. And that was one of the things that absolutely my boys and I always bonded on that ride to school. It was like, hey, man, if you acted right last night, we'll listen to the D.O.C. on the way to school tomorrow morning. And so, there was an incentive there that gave us we're not telling mom about this and you don't use this language at school. But, in between the house and a block before we get to school, we're pimps and we're rolling Too Short. Oh, bro. We're rolling the D.O.C. and we're rolling NWA.
We're coming in school zone heavy. Windows down, heavy, bumping, baby. I want the freaking crossing guard to be embarrassed. Like, we're coming in strong, But that's the other thing about the D.O.C. The D.O.C. never cussed in his raps, in his videos, none of that. He didn't do that. And because he was like, hey, man, you know what? I don't want to brag on myself. I'm too good for that. I don't even need to do that in my raps. So that's the thing about the D.O.C. I love, too, because my son could listen to the D.O.C. I mean, it's funky enough. I don't even know how many times we had that thing jamming. That's kind of what you got to start them on, right? You start them out with the D.O.C. and you get that going without all the words. But I'll be honest with you, I grew up a street kid too. So, my kids sometimes, unfortunately, hear those words out of my mouth. And it's just a life pertain. Like, I'm not a parent that's going to stick my head in the sand and act like my kids ain't going to hear them words or be around that. So,
you gotta learn when not to use them.
If mom don't care, I'm good. Like, let's tune it up, baby. Listen. Just don't say nothing.
Well, look, since we're on the subject, and Doc, you probably all tired of hearing about all this all these years, but I have to acknowledge that, there were, when you get deep into the music, there were three distinct voices in the lyrics of NWA that we all know and love. And really, Doc, you're responsible for what I consider the part with the sense of humor, the part with the charm, the part that made it approachable. And so, Cube had a hardcore voice, and he told the story of the LA streets like nobody else. But when it came time to crack a smile, when it came time to wink at the girls, when it came time to, acknowledge that sometimes you get to be happy in life, it seemed like those were your lyrics.
What the truth of the matter is, back in those days, rap was a hard time trying to cross over into the mainstream just for that very reason. So I took it. So that was my way of helping those guys kind of cross over into the mainstream by making it a little bit more funny, a little bit more entertaining, so it would be acceptable to middle America. And they were afraid that these guys were going to show up in their yard and with their lowriders and start car hopping shit. That they just want to have fun, you know. And I think that was the thing that really helped them get over. But after they saw Easy's little ass on TV, it was over with, you know.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, he had a charisma about him. I mean, he could be intimidating, sure, but he was funny. And the streets are serious, but the streets are also very funny.
But don't get it twisted. Eazy-E was every bit the street guy you would think that he was. Even at 5'4", whatever he was not to be trifled with. And I, you know, and I'm 6'4". And I gave him plenty of space because
the other thing is too, Doc, if you don't mind, can you tell the guys about the project you're working on now?
Please.
Share a little bit about that.
So I started shooting a documentary about 6 months ago, and it's really turning out a really amazing piece of art. And I'm blessed to be able to shoot my mother at this game, joining her son, and shoot her interview at this experience, and put it all inside the documentary. And it's probably the best thing that's happened to me in many, many years, to be able to come back home and show Dallas in the light that I'm going to be able to do it with stars all around me, and my mom and my kids. And like I said, this documentary is really turning out to be a real piece of art. Everybody showed up, from Dre to Eminem to Snoop, Badu, Ice Cube. Everybody's in it. They all say these amazing things about me, and it's really, really cool. But being inside Globe Life and being able to walk those bases at home in a documentary that's going to be a whole globe, to be able to show Dallas in a way that really makes us look like the champions we are here is just fantastic for me.
Yeah, it's actually amazing. I've seen a few clips. I'm telling you, I promise you, this thing is going to win award after award when it comes out. It is absolutely amazing.
It's really good.
Release it. You got to come back on the show so we can spend some time talking about it. I'd love it.
Please, man, please. Anything, absolutely. Let me just put this out there. Anything we can do to help get the word out, anything we can do to, you know, if you're doing a tour and there's stuff coming around and you need help in the Bay or you need help in Orange County where Pete is, count us in.
Bro, I'm going to tell you like this. Like, I've walked a hard road for more, but it's at the end where I got to revelation that was my path, right? I had to walk.
Yep.
Because I chosen to walk it. I was probably one of the only ones strong enough to walk it. And that's where lessons start, right? And so, man, God got me. And everything that I thought I lost, watch this. You know what I mean? Everything I thought I missed out on, watch this. And so I've lived enough life to understand it's not about me. It's about us. So from my perspective, it's much DFW as it is D.O.C.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you, man, I'm truly fascinated with your story. And I know I've been a fan since the very first minute. You know, I had everything. So, you know, I'm very well aware of your everything, your evolution as a human being. And I think you have probably, you know, one of, if not the most compelling stories from a human standpoint, your evolution as a person, your rise to superstardom, the fact that it was snatched away from you when you left your teeth in the tree. all of it, you know. I mean, it's such a story of absolute humanity, and the fact that you walk tall and proud like you do is really remarkable. I mean, of all the accomplishments that we can hang on you, that you know, among all of them is to me the most important, and the one that, you know, that I would, you know, showcase to my kids and to everybody's kids more than anything else.
Thank you, bro. I do.
The crazy thing, he's just getting started.
Yeah.
That's really the kind of funny thing. Honestly, when you see this documentary, you're gonna be like, "Wow, he's just getting started."
Thank God.
Yeah, watch to see what get ready to come out, world, because this is a rebirth. This coming again. This round 2.
I do all things everything is through him. It's his victory, not mine. I'm just a guy.
Amen.
Yeah. How many people in show business though don't get to learn that lesson, you know, or don't accept that you know, that there's humility involved and humanity involved. You know, the list is long of people who, you know, who lose it. And so, you know, we're, like I said, we're fans, and we're in whatever you're doing. We're in.
Thank you, brother. God bless you.
We had Angelo Moore on the show a long time ago, your lead singer from Fishbone, and he talked about him and his friends all sitting on the edge of the blender, and the industry is the blender. And he saw his friends get chewed up in a lot of ways, drugs, all kinds of things, you know. And when you're sitting there at this point, you can look back. I mean, that has to resonate with you. All of the things, the guys that didn't make it, the guys that made it, and how impossible. It's got to give you some real perspective and some wisdom.
Bro, I'm going to tell you probably think me these days, and there's no way I can explain it, but I'll give you a caveat of how God works in my world these days. I started yesterday with the DISD in the city of Dallas, and we're talking about transforming one of the old middle schools in a historic Black district. We're talking about remodeling it and revamping it into a school of the arts and putting my name on it.
That's awesome.
Right. So if all I went through was able to give these kids a better opportunity to have a better shot at it, then it was all worth it, bro.
Man.
Yeah. I can't think how many artists John and I have talked to. Dwayne Wiggins comes to mind, where they made themselves in a arts focused school program. I mean, John, it must be half a dozen. No, it must be 6 dozen people.
Oh yeah, come on. I mean, it's so crucial that we're losing arts programs in school, and the fact that we don't put a value on expression for kids nowadays is terrible, and it's going to have terrible repercussions. So you know,
if you don't give them some, leave them to their own devices, you can't expect great things. Really just can't. You got to help these kids out, and right now more than ever, we need to reach back into these communities and do what we can for everybody, man. We all, because we're all in this together, and we're all gonna see them together. And so either you want everybody to have something, or you don't want anybody to have anything. And I know which one I want. I want everybody to have something, and let's make it do, especially in North Texas, because there's no place on the planet better than North Texas. So we need
nowhere better.
That's right.
Nowhere better.
I may have an argument for what's in the top 5, but I'm not going to dispute that North Texas is pretty sweet. I'm going to give a shout out to my friend Sandra, who lives in Frisco, Texas.
Go ahead and pick an argument with Doc. Let's see this.
Yeah. No, I'm shouting out my friend Sandra, who lives in Frisco, and she loves everything Texas, and you know, I love her dedication to it. So I'm just seeing more and more of what's going on here, and you're you know, TK, you've amassed a whole crew of people who are just showing out for North Texas. So I appreciate it. Also,
you know, the other thing about this game that's amazing is everybody in this game, we don't all look alike. We're not the same race. Yeah. We don't have the same political views. We don't have you name it. But what's amazing is when everybody gets together, man, it is all love, and it's so much fun, and all that craziness is just wayside. And, this is just really this event besides, from a selfish aspect, the people who are participating in it, from a selfish aspect, we get to see a lot of people we love and care about and have a great weekend. It turns into a family reunion every year. But, what we're most interested in is making sure the fans that come and attend, and I think we're almost sold out at 5,000 tickets. We only did 5,000 tickets at this first one. I think we're almost sold out. As of this morning, they thought there might be just a couple hundred tickets left, maybe, which is going to be awesome. But that's a whole nother thing coming up to bat when you got 5,000 people. I'm sure it's different when you're in a stadium with 40,000 people and you're singing. That ain't no big deal. Getting up and batting in front of 5,000 people, that's a whole nother level of getting your stomach tight on that. I promise you. So, but
what you really meant to say was getting up and risking striking out in front of 5,000 people.
Oh, and it will happen. I promise you. So there will be a few of them that will have to go sit down. You just missed it on your third one. See you later. And that's just a walk of shame and death. And then the stadium plays the music, and that's where you just go, tap, I'm out. Somebody else can take my spot from now on. I'm going to find TK up the suite somewhere. So, But that's really all it's about. It's just giving back to the fans and really having some fun with the fans and making sure that those, guys and girls and everybody shows up, just has a blast. Yeah. And just by showing up, man, the week we've already won. The weekend's going to be great.
TK, do you have any examples of the merch you might be selling there? You got any hats or T-shirts or anything that you can show us?
Actually, if you go to BourbonUnited.com, the jerseys and the game hats that the celebrities are wearing, the fans can actually buy them on there.
Okay.
I think it's actually celebrityjerseys.com is the URL we got. But if you can't find it there, go to BourbonUnited.com. They're on there.
Yeah. Doc, what's your number?
77.
77.
I'm inspired by Donich. Because we want to win.
Inspired by what?
By Luka.
That's why he got it, because of Luka from the Mavs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
When
I think
you guys don't know nothing about this Maverick life, but we Dallas Tech, well, we love our players. And I'm a player, and I want to have a game like he has games, because that kid is bananas.
We know a little bit about Dallas or the Mavs because Jason Kidd went there for a while, and he's a Bay Area kid.
Oh yeah,
that we loved growing up.
Yeah, he was great. He's one of the great.
But I think about the best.
But this kid, Luka Donich, they call him Baby Bird. This guy is freaking insane as a basketball player. Love him to death.
Well, you also have the most charismatic owner in the NBA.
What's that?
I said you got the most. Oh, Doug Marcos with Luka rules. Doug Marcos is a big basketball fan, and I will say also you have the most charismatic owner in the NBA.
Oh yeah, Mark Cuban's the best.
Yeah, no, Cuban's the man. He's a great guy.
No question.
Anything in closing at all, Doc? And I'll give you a shot, TK, too, to plug one more time. But anything for you in closing, Doc?
Yeah, I'm not going to be taking any walks and shit around here. I wouldn't be expecting that. I'm going to crush the ball. I'm going to crush the freaking ball. Trust me when I tell you that.
Yeah. My prediction is he's going to crush the ball deep into the power gap, and then he's going to round first base like a Mac, dragging 1 foot behind him.
Yeah.
What you do is you already have your runner at first base. Like, be ready, because I'm just hitting and I'm going to make it to that base, and then you sub. I'm out. I like my hamstrings attached.
Okay. Yes. Yes, nicely done. Also, I'm going to encourage that, in the coach's box at first base, go ahead and put a keg there.
I know, right?
Yeah.
There'd be plenty in the dugout. That's what scares me sometimes. You always kind of worry about, like, man, I know what he had pregame. I hope he can just even swing a bat at this point. It's always a good time, I promise you. And it's always a crowd pleaser no matter what. The other thing is, during the game, the celebs that aren't playing, we're actually going to take them up on the concourse and kind of turned into a fan fest a little bit, so the fans could come over and meet and greet a lot of the guys and girls and some of our veteran guys and girls, and just get back and have some fun with it. That's really, like I tell the Rangers, there's everybody's kind of got a perfectionist side to them, and I do too. But it's kind of like, guys, at the end of the day, man, it's just a softball game. Like, as long as nobody gets hurt and the fans have fun, man, total success. Beyond that, don't worry about it. There's going to be mess ups, but the only people who really know if we have any mess ups will be us. So don't worry about it. It's just softball. It's just fun.
Hey, Brad, I think Genie Bus is dope, but way better than Cube. I don't know about that.
Come on, Brad. Come on, Brad.
I like it.
He just said better looking.
Oh,
There you
maybe.
go.
He's got a point. He's got a point. I'm with him there.
And I'll give you for sure.
Hey, also, you know what? Since you guys have, this tie-in with such a strong tie with the community, I just want to encourage anybody else who's out there. These kinds of things are. It seems like all the right celebrities want to always do these things, and as much as you can connect with, especially the young fans, man. This is such a blessing that you guys are doing this, and man, I'm so happy that that Dallas gets to experience this from all of you guys.
Every one of those celebrities, veterans, everybody participating is doing it on their own dime. They're just volunteering. They're just coming out to have fun, which is another really incredible opportunity because it just shows you the selflessness of everybody going, man, we just want to help and give back and have some fun. So, I mean, everybody, if they're flying in from out of town, they're flying on their own dime. They're paying for their own hotel rooms. They're paying for everything to come in for that weekend. It just says a lot about the individuals that are participating in this game.
I heard they're all staying at Doc's house.
No.
They can because we're going to be at the Lowe's, baby, enjoying life.
That's right.
Y'all
You and
trying
me,
to
we're drinking Coronas. That's what we're going to do, Doc. That's what we're doing.
kick that house.
Well, hey, man, we
Gotta say-
really appreciate you both.
I'm going to say
Man,
a
thanks
shout out
for
to
having
Willie
us. We
Calhoun.
appreciate you guys.
Yeah, no worries. I want to say a shout out to Willie Calhoun, who plays for the Rangers.
Right.
He's from Benicia. That's
Hometown
my
boy.
hometown. That's where John lives now, and
Yep.
got to send up some love his way. Anything in closing, John?
He needs the love, right?
He does.
Yeah, man. But anyway, God bless that.
Yeah.
Thanks
Yeah.
for having me on. I really appreciate it. I'm really excited about the game and seeing everybody and meeting all the fans. It's just gonna be a blast, and I'm really grateful, TK, that you reached out.
Oh, man, I couldn't be more excited. My boy Doc's playing. It's going to be a great time. We appreciate you guys having us, and see you all on 12th.
Yeah. Doc, do you have a working title for the documentary?
No one could do it better. The
Of
doc.
course.
Oh, wait. It's no one could do it better. The documentary, but the doc.
The D.O.C. humanitary.
Yeah.
Oh, Doc, aren't you going to have a soundtrack with this documentary too, right?
Absolutely.
Man.
Get ready, folks. Soundtrack's coming with the documentary as well. I can't wait.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
It's gonna be great, bro. I'm look, when I showed some of it to Dre, who's probably the hardest critic that you
Of course.
meet in life, and he was giddy over it. He thought it was just amazing. And so I know we're award winning. We're approaching award winning sort of material.
Ching, accepting the award.
Well, look, everybody knows how dope Dr. Dre is, but what people might not know, probably know, but might not know, is that you were always the voice that could tell him if there was something not right about what he was doing. So he probably, I think, trusted your opinion as much or more than anybody else on the planet. So for him to be excited about what you're doing, he's not pulling your leg.
Oh no, and he still does to this day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make that phone call to Doc in the AM, like, check it out.
And
Still.
you guys didn't see it, but as we've been doing this podcast, Ray just hit me and asked me if I like something. I can't see what it is after what Bill does that, you know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell him the truth. If it stinks, I'm be like, but not that's it. It's great stuff.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, man. Big fan. DK, thank you.
Guys.
Also, big fan.
Love y'all.
Wrap this thing up. Hey, thanks for watching the show. I really appreciate it. Right here, you can subscribe. Please do that. It makes the show grow. Hit that notification bell so you know which incredible guest is coming up next. Down below is the PayPal link. You can put a small subscription in. That is an enormous help. All that money goes right back into the show. And then right up over here are the next episodes you should listen to, curated by yours truly. Thank you so much for watching the Break It Down Show.